Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominic. Welcome to the Truth X channel where we are unveiling the untold history of the mankind from my perspective. As I said in the first video, this is a little bit of introduction and short videos about my perspective on the ancient history dating back to the ancient cataclysm. And these videos are closely related to my book that I'm writing currently now, so that the viewers and the future readers could have a little bit of an idea what I'm talking about in my book in detail. In this video, I chose Mexico as the second most important or the second crucial location on our planet where I believe the civilization was restarted again after the cataclysm and is the center of or was the center of the incredibly advanced culture dating back probably even 11,000 years. So let's have a closer look where it all started, or where I believe was the center. It started somewhere else, but to that we will get to that in another video. So we're heading down to this part of Mexico, just very close to the capital city of Mexico City, where we get to the most famous site, I believe, the archaeological site of Teotihuacan, which is very interesting because there are again three pyramids, very similar in orientation and placement as the pyramids of Giza and Xi'an in China. However, their orientation compared to Xi'an that we unveiled in the previous video is oriented towards northeast, which is again very interesting, very mysterious. Some people claim it was oriented to the due north, to the northern pole before the cataclysm, but I don't believe that because I think, and I'm pretty sure this site was built after the cataclysm, and I will explain why in later videos. Um, this site is very different, I believe, in the construction, because again, I believe that this site was overbuilt by later cultures. This is not what we will find 11,000 years ago, and I believe the core structure of these huge pyramids, the pyramid of the sun and the pyramid of the moon right here, are megalithic, built with huge basalt or volcanic rock blocks. And yeah, this pyramid is massive here, right here. This pyramid is massive, and if we look at the dimension of it again, we're looking at a pyramid of roughly 300 meters in base to roughly 550 meters, which is incredibly huge compared to other pyramidal sites found in Mexico in the south or in the south, not South America, but it's in southern Mexico. We were the Mayas supposedly built the pyramid, but I believe that these pyramids, most of them, were also built in this era, and later attributed by the Mayans, who also built some of their pyramids in the dynastic times, as I call them, which are much more primitive compared to these structures. What I found interesting about this site is, again, we see the formation of the three stars of the Orion as I connected them right here. And I believe, again, same as in Xi'an, the orientation is different due to the different placement on the planet Earth. We're talking totally different altitude and latitude. Um, if we take a look on the latitude, we're much lower than the other sites in Giza and Xi'an. We're talking latitude 12.9, if I'm not mistaken, 12.9 north. So we're much more south, and I will explain why. And again, it will make perfect sense to the viewers if we get to the last point of this Orion Belt connection to the all three pyramidal sites on planet Earth. So I believe the placement of these three pyramids, the location is very logical, and again, perfectly calculated mathematically to fit these physical and mathematical connection to these stars of Orion. And again, it's much more deep than I'm talking to right now. It's a brief introduction. What I found interesting, very briefly, about many sites around Teotihuacan, which I believe in translation actually means the city of the gods, from the Aztec language, or the city built by the gods, or the city of the sun. But that's not Teotihuacan, but the translation of the word was different. That's why I believe this city was attributed by the people who came after the cataclysm, uh, from the previous civilization that was living here before cataclysm, and the civilization was centered around the worship of one single deity, and a lot of sun symbolism is related to this past civilization, and that's why it could have been called the city of the sun, because I believe that the sun was symbolizing one single deity directly connected to God that people venerated back then in the lost civilization, compared to this new emerged civilization that was more focused on the multi multi or yeah, multi-religion of more gods, more deities. That's what we see right from the beginning of this civilization, that these people venerated many gods and were performing rituals, etc. We will get to that in detail later. What I found interesting here is that there are many sites, like here in Tula, sorry, the Atlantean warriors, which I believe were built in this era. Can't find it right here. Right. These Atlantean warriors, I think, were not Atlantean warriors as they call them, but they represented some kind of deities, probably, or people who were important in that time of the history for the local people. So they represented it in this artistic form, same as in Egypt. We see these huge statues with this same faces that are perfectly carved out of incredibly hard rocks. In this case, I think it's basalt or some volcanic rock. In Egypt, it was granite. So there are many sites that I found very interesting, but what I found the most interesting about this place, or the whole area here, is that I believe these sites were somehow connected, and same as in Egypt, they will get to it later. These sites were not only monuments built to venerate something or to create something artistic, but they were functional. I think they were energetically connected, transmitting some type of energy that was harvested either from the universe or from other sources. And they were connected energetically somehow to be able to transfer the energy to the other parts of the country that was inhabited by these people, so that they could strive and create basically the whole new civilization in that time. We're talking really thousands of years before our common known history as we know it. So this was a short look at Mexico. Again, just a brief introduction. Later we will get to this part of the country of Oaxaca or Jaca or Chaga and Mitla, where I found these very interesting structures that I believe again were very functional and were not just monuments. If we look at the Mitla, we can see megalithic pillars built out of one part of the one piece of rock. And inside of these buildings, there are very interesting megalithic blocks, huge multi-ton blocks, which form the base of the structure. And here I call this a cruciform structure in Guirun. That again, built by the megalithic rocks. Who knows what was this for? What function this had? But I believe it was again a functional structure, not just a monument or tomb. It wasn't tomb at all, to my eyes. I believe these structures were highly functional, energetically charged somehow, and this formation, the cruciform formation, is not coincidental. As you can see, the cross shape is obvious. The megalithic blocks are perfectly put and fit together in this shape, and they're multi-ton blocks. just put somewhere up on the hill in the middle of nowhere, right? So I think we're talking here about several structures which are very important and were had crucial role in these times. This is Yago. This side to me it seems very much like, again, you can see that the core structure I believe was constructed in these much more ancient times because you can see bigger blocks, megalithic blocks. The top level, as you can see, it's much more primitive, much more crude, built with primitive stones and some material to connect them together. So definitely this sites I think were later, thousands of years later, found and somehow inherited by the Aztecs or the Olmecs or the other cultures who lived in this part of the world and all were built by them. Created the settlements, the primitive settlements, as you can see, primitive structures above these functional megalithic, very technologically, I believe, advanced structures. This is what we can see in all the ancient sites that we will unveil. And I think, and I suggest, and I will go through it in all the videos, uh, this this work of overbuilding and rebuilding the structures was not coincidence. It was, I think, done on purpose, so that these cultures would hide the evidence of this lost technology that existed not before the cataclysm, but even after cataclysm, when the civilization was restarted and the people needed advanced sources of energy and agriculture to survive in a world that was totally obliterated by natural disaster. This was a quick look at Mexico. We will get to this in a detail later, but this area of the world, or Mexico in to be precise, had crucial role, and I believe was the third and the last pyramidal site out of the three built on planet Earth. I believe they were built somehow simultaneously, but also there was a big bit of time difference between them. So this was the last one built, and we will get to the point how people get here to this part of the world, where they survived the cataclysm, and how they got here and how they survived. This is TruthX. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in more of my work, stay tuned.